Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever in the world you may be joining us from today. My name is Francesco Del Carpio, and I am the CFL York Operations Coordinator. I would like to officially open the second session in our Climate AI Innovation Hub, Scaling Climate Solutions with AI speaker series, presented in partnership with the Advanced Disaster and Emergency Rapid Response Simulation Lab at York University and the Canadian Intellectual Property Office. I would like to begin today with a land acknowledgement. First Nation peoples have lived on this part of Turtle Island for millennia, stewarding the land, the water, and all that contributes to life in this region. Today, the culture and presence of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples enrich the lands and people of this territory. More than 2 centuries ago, the Mississauga people welcomed settlers to this territory, providing sustenance and engaging in trade and commerce. Between 1781 and 1820, 8 treaties were signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, who opened their territory to settlement. Today, York University's Keele campus is located on Toronto Purchase Treaty Number 13 lands and is situated on the traditional territory of the Huron-Wendat and the Haudenosaunee. Treaty history is foundational, and it is our collective responsibility to honor the land as we honor and respect those who have gone before us, those who are here, and those who have yet to come. We are grateful for the opportunity to be learning, working, and thriving on this land, and we commit to learn the truth and be active in the process of reconciliation. As this is an online event and our participants may be joining from various locations, I strongly encourage you to learn about the traditional land upon which you are located. With this, I would like to welcome our moderator, our speaker, and our participants from around the world. Welcome to our webinar. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our moderator today, Dr. Human Razavi. Human Razavi is a PhD fellow at ITESM and a visiting researcher at the University of Ottawa in engineering science. With an extensive experience of network design and information security in academia and industry, he has been serving as CTO and co-founder of IEP since 2020, a Canadian firm in education technology. His expertise also spans AI-based networks, IoT and IoT-driven systems, as well as IoMT technology and devices. Those are Internet of Things and Internet of Medical Things technology and devices. Dr. Razavi, thank you very much for moderating today's session and your ongoing help in putting together this series. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Francisco. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Climate AI Innovated Hub Talk series. My name is Human Razavi, and I am the moderator of these episodes. For those joining us live, thank you for being here. And to those who will be listening to this conversation later, we are glad you are part of this community as well. Also, we have Canadian Intellectual Property Office as our partner in this series. Thanks them. At Climate AI Innovation Hub, we focus on exploring how artificial intelligence and other modern technologies can accelerate climate solutions, improve resilience, and support the transition to a low carbon and sustainable future. Through this series, we highlight founders, innovators, and leaders who are building real world climate technologies and scaling them for impact. Today, we are excited to welcome Dr. Elham Kheradmand, founder and CEO of Lucid Axon, to share her journey and insights. Hi, Elham, how are you today?
Hi, Human, and thank you so much for introduction and having me here. It's a pleasure to be here and share some insights with the audience.
It's a great pleasure. Please go on with introducing yourself, your journey, and introducing your company. We are hearing you. Thank you.
Yes, for sure. And I actually have a presentation I would like to share, and then I will go through this. I will start with talking about my journey, and then after that, a presentation to present better what we do at Lucid Axon.
Great. Please go on.
So I would like to share my screen. Let me do it here. Okay, just one moment. I'm doing this right. Okay. Let me do this. Welcome everyone to this session, and thanks again for having me. Today I would like to talk about Lucid Axon and my journey, and more specifically about Lucid Axon, that how sustainability, performance, and impact of the company can affect investment decision, and how Lucid Axon empowers investors to understand and integrate sustainability and impact consideration into their decision making. A little bit about myself in 2020. My whole background is mathematics, so I always studied in mathematics. I got my PhD in 2020 in mathematics, and I had during my PhD, I also worked for Hydro-Quebec as a software developer. And after finishing my PhD, I did some part of the research for a few companies like Sam and also Axiona. And I also helped AI Launch Lab to manage AI projects. And after finishing my PhD, I also started postdoc. And this postdoc was about how AI can help sustainability in general. And more specifically, at the beginning, we look into how AI can help with understanding better how companies are doing in terms of climate change. And after 2 years of providing these and developing these AI tools, and then we gave and presented these results to the industry, we have seen a lot of traction. And we say, why not? We start a company, and then through the company, we give access to all the industry that are interested in using these AI tools through a company. And then we started Lucid Axon. And you also see at the right side, I also did a lot of volunteer activity and helping in the research. And then I gave some courses, online courses with Finemel, Ivado. And also through my journey, I won some awards because of my contribution for AI for social good. And in 2022, I recognized as the ESG AI Leader of the Year. And so I would like to start with the first slide. You see here some news. On the right and the left side, you see that H&M is accused of mistreating its employees. And at the right side, you see another news to tell you that Patagonia removes harmful chemicals from its product. So these are two headlines, and these companies are clothing brand. So imagine that you're deciding between these two for an investment. How your decision would be different if you have this information or not. But who cares about having this information? Responsible investors. Responsible investors that they want to have a positive impact by investing in a company. So they care about having all of this information and not missing any information related to companies. But how currently responsible investors make a decision? They rely on ESG score. ESG is acronym for environmental, social, and governance, is the three central factors that measure sustainability of companies. But what is ESG score? ESG score is simply a single number which provided by ESG rating companies. But are they reliable? You can notice that why Sustainalytics is a rating company that give low ESG score for Shell, two other agencies to give the score, Refinitiv and MSCI, assign high ESG score to the same company. But why? Because different ESG rating agency have different methodology and criteria and weighting, leading to inconsistent scores for the same company. But how the responsible investor deal with that? Because if they rely on one score, their decision is different. So what they do, they rely on their own evaluation. So search manually through multiple resources, even now, like asking ChatGPT to extract data or get information from public information. But all of this process is very time consuming and it's a lot of manual analysis. And on the other side, they have to pay multiple providers to deal with this discrepancy. So that's also overwhelming and costly for them. But how our solution can help them? Lucid Axon provides AI-powered tools that significantly reduce the cost and time of those integration and analysis. So our solution allows analysts to focus on insights and recommendation instead of manual data gathering and enable them to do the efficient sustainability assessment. How? Through the customizable solution that can be tailored to the specific needs. And we're offering transparent, objective, and comprehensive view of sustainability, performance, and impact of companies. How we do it? So first, we have some tools to go through the public information, and these tools is really trained on which data is located where and how to extract the information and which data is important for the assessment. And then after getting this, we put all of this data in a database as a structured. And then another layer, so the main layer is the layer of AI-powered analysis that the user can define this. And then using these tools can create metrics, can create insight, can create reports, analysis, anything that they want. So basically, using these tools, they can automate all the process of the analysis that they do, and they don't need to rely on manual analysis. And our business model is a flexible and a scalable. We have different features, and most of them are can be available at the annual subscription. But we also are flexible in giving like a short-term subscription or longer-term subscription as well. And this model brings a lot of flexibility, and they can actually say that, okay, during this 1 year subscription, what exactly they need to have access. Our competitors are here, and then I want to let you know like how we are different from the competitors. Bringing customizability and flexibility to the user to define exactly what they want and then align these tools to the workflow is something unique at Lucid Axon, that they can easily adopt these tools and implement these tools to the workflow. And another advantage is and differentiator is our team. Our founder team comprises highly educated and experienced individuals. I have a PhD in math, years of experience in AI, and we have Dr. Masood Hassani, who has close to a decade of software development experience with 4 years of management experience. We have Rawa Khalaf, who is currently Director of Partnership at Mila and has years of experience in finance and ESG. And last but not least, Professor Manuel Morales at University of Montreal, who has more than a decade experience in entrepreneurship, and he's specialized in AI and finance, and more specifically, ESG. So we are positioning ourselves for success. But who is our clients and who can get the benefit of these tools? Our primary customers are institutional investors. So asset managers, asset owners, and financial institutions that they want to make an investment decision. There are also, on the other side, there are some ESG research companies that invest significant time in manual data collection and analysis, such as ESG data, ESG consulting firms, or policymaker NGOs. So these are the main customers. Our plan is we actually launched our MVP in late 2024. And after that, we started to do commercialization and sell the product as an MVP. But we advanced many features and improve our product. And we actually went to the market uh, last year and launched our product. So now we have a product that is ready, and then we started to expand the sales. And the future is that we want to advance in the technology that we have and serve better the companies in the industry. But what is our mission? Our mission is, Lucid Axon mission is to make sustainability and impact analysis easier, faster, and more transparent. So any investors, they have access to the better company impact so they can direct capital toward more sustainable companies while helping organizations communicate their impact more clearly and also effectively to investors. Thank you so much. So I would be happy to answer any questions Huma you have.
Thank you so much, Elham. In the audience, if anyone have questions, we can get the questions. If not, I have some questions to ask. Okay. In slide 3, you mentioned about the traditional scoring system, and could you please explain in a little more details about what makes your approach to ESG data fundamentally different from the traditional scoring system?
Thank you for this question. What makes this approach is different is that we don't believe that a single number can truly represent the company's sustainability performance. It's true that a score can be implemented as a value to some models and some financial models, but one score cannot give you the exact sustainability performance of companies. So traditional system give you a number, but they don't show how the number was created and what is behind that. At Lucid Axon, we focus on more evidence instead of a score. So we collect the data directly from public information and we show user the exact information why is happening. So the reasoning and also conclusion. So for the user, it's very, very transparent that why this company is doing this. And this means that you can trace every insight back to the source of information and also customize the criteria based on your own methodology. So these tools can, because a score is a black box and you cannot do anything, but with these tools, you can customize criteria based on your own methodology and make a decision with full transparency.
Great. And you mentioned to the public data. Could you please provide some examples about the public data? And I know that maybe in building AI systems, the main barrier and challenge would be collecting data from different sources, structures, non-structured data, and combining them. Please put a little light about what kind of data you are using in your system to training.
Yes, for sure. So the public information about companies can be on the websites and they can be under reports, more specifically on the reports, because companies, mostly public companies, they disclosed a lot of information about their sustainability in separate sustainability reports or in their annual reports. And there are a lot of information on their website. There are a lot of third-party information like news, social media talking about these companies. So these tools can read all the public data in real time and extract this information.
Oh, great. And I saw in slide 3 or 4 you mentioned about the ESG metrics and how do users actually customize their own ESG metrics in practice?
Uh, that's
Provide.
very, yeah,
Go
that's,
ahead.
yeah, that's a very good question. And they actually can define what exactly they want to measure. So that brings a lot of customizability. And another one that how they want to evaluate company. So instead of choosing from a fixed list that they can create, instead of choosing from a fixed list, they can create their own questions, scoring logic, because they have their own methodology to measure the sustainability. For example, what qualifies as a strong climate performance, or what threshold from company disclosures um, analyzes it and applies the user logic to generate the results. So user can refine these metrics over time. So even they can change it over time and adjust it. And also using this methodology that they create, they can compare companies also together. And we also give this ability to the users that they can train also these models through feedback. So the analysis that we give to the users is actually very aligned with their thinking. And that makes all of the assessment that they can do is fully flexible, so they align and also align with how they think and how they make a decision.
Great. And as a practical question, what's been the biggest challenge in building reliable ESG data models? And also, how do you ensure transparency and avoid bias in your algorithms?
Um, Related to the biggest challenge related to ESG data and models, so ESG data is fragmented, so it's everywhere. Understanding and also messy and sometimes inconsistent. So one company maybe in one year disclose something and another year like disclose something differently. So these are the main challenge, but an inconsistency, a messy, fragmented, and also companies disclose this data in a different format. So sometimes they put the data as in a PDF, sometimes in visualization, and sometimes they use different definition, and sometimes is vague, incomplete. But a tool that can be trained exactly that how to extract this data, how to avoid hallucination, how to actually do it properly to analyze this data with a way that can be reliable is actually a main challenge for that. And in terms of transparency and bias, because these tools are for sustainability people. So we need to do this creation with a lot of care. So we need to share, we need to ensure transparency and reduce bias. How? By giving the full evidence and something that they can trace easily. So each results that we give them the why. So explain exactly how is created this analysis, and also they can trace it to the source of information. So instead of like forcing a fixed model or hidden assumption, we let users to define their own criteria and metrics. That removes a lot of bias coming from one predefined methodology, because that's the own methodology. They can actually something that they can rely on and trust it.
Oh, great. You mentioned to the users. Please give me more information about your stakeholders and users and who benefits the most from your platform today, investors, companies, or society, of all of them.
Yeah, actually, our slogan is invest responsibly with Lucid Axon. So our main clients are investors that they want to make reliable decision and transparent and a decision with a lot of transparency. And so our platform led them to assess company performance quickly with the confidence. But at the same time, companies can also value from this analysis, because they want to evaluate, see how from the public information investors evaluate them, and because there is a possibility to do the comparison, and so they can actually compare themselves with their peers, and that would be help them to understand what are the weaknesses that they have and how they can improve themselves in terms of sustainability.
And do you have any real example where your insights and insights from your algorithms change the decision in investors?
Um, I can give you one example that institutional investors, they want to evaluate a small portfolio. And so they initially did the assessment and then found that one company has a very strong ESG performance based on high-level disclosures. But when we ran a deeper analysis using our platform, we uncovered that many of the claims were not supported by concrete actions and measurable data. So essentially, there was a gap between what companies said and what companies do. And that was some insight that they could get from this tool.
Okay. And what's the as Francisco, I have seen that. Yeah, we have two questions from the members. Please go ahead with the questions.
Sure. Thank you. Yes, we have a question from Janet, who asks, would be helpful to have this approach for assessing and finding vendors for sustainable procurement? Are there any organizations or companies in this area?
Would you please repeat the question?
Yeah, so Janet points out that it would be helpful to have this kind of approach for assessing and finding vendors for sustainable procurement. So not just from an investor standpoint, but from a company to be able to help find sustainable companies to procure their products from. So they're asking if there's any organizations or companies that do this kind of work, or even if this is something that Lucid Axon is potentially branching into.
Um, that's a very good question. And for sure, companies themselves can get the benefits from this analysis, because, and also they can understand how they're different from their competitors in the same domain, especially in terms of sustainability, and they can learn best practices in the same industry. From those best practices, they can see how they can improve themselves. Because these tools can get all of the data in real time, and then they actually can create some analysis on real time and understanding that what are the weaknesses of the company, their own company, and then how is different, they're different from their competitors, and they can learn from them.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think that makes sense. They can use the same information to judge the company instead of investing. It's more, uh, yeah, partnering or establishing contracts with them. And then Janet also just had a follow-up question asking, what are the top climate-related sources of data being ingested by the AI?
Um, we rely on everything that is available on like data and information. If there is something, for sure, we can get it and then include it in the assessment. Some projects that we have done based on um, that is related to the climate, understanding that what is the net zero pathway of companies. So understanding that, okay, they have a commitment, but how they're approaching that commitment. Analyzing all of these actions and analyzing that, okay, they have a net zero commitment in 2050, but if they reach that commitment, if they do enough actions, if they show exactly what they do, this is not easily to be done, but using these AI tools that you can automate this analysis and apply it on m- large number of companies. So you can have like a better view of understanding how companies are doing in different regions and how they're approaching to the climate target. But basically, to answer specifically this question, any information that companies provide publicly, we can get that information and then we can do the analysis and translate this data to some actionable insights.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. That was it so far from our audience questions. But I do encourage anyone in the audience uh, to join the conversation and add any questions they might have in the Q&A. But for now, I believe, Human, maybe you had some more questions to keep the conversation going.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I have a couple of questions regarding your products and some questions about the entrepreneurship aspects. But about the data, how do you see ESG data evolving over the next few years? What's your prediction?
It's hard to tell because this was a lot of things happenings now in ESG world. I'm not an expert, like in ESG, more in AI, but I can tell you my observation. So ESG data, I see that is moving from something that companies they want to report to something that they want to measure, verify, and then they want to run sustainability. They want to run the business based on sustainability. So we are seeing actually three big shifts. So from the regulations, there are some push, is not happening just right now, but in the future for sure there is like pushing companies toward something that they can standardize their sustainability, audit ready data instead of just like high level narrative. And the second one is issue data and information is more operational. So like financial data that they can use daily for decision making and risk management and strategy. So sustainability can be more operational. And the third one is the technology and especially AI is turning unstructured information into real-time decision-grade insights. So that shift is not only for large corporations, but also startups now thinking about sustainability from day one. Because investors, customers, a lot of regulation are already pushing this. So now something that I can see, even small companies, they want to know and understand how I can be more sustainable, how I can increase my impact. And because they see that if they want to succeed, they need to integrate and they need to think about this from the beginning.
Great. And we have another question from the audience. Jeremy asked, how do you use different types of modeling techniques, including generative AI and machine learning, in your business cases? Thank you.
Very good technical question. So we actually have in the first layer, we have our own algorithms that is trained already to extract this data. And most of them are supervised learning methodology that we train on many data. So after getting the data from these models, then we use generative AI to generate the insight, to generate reports, to generate like anything that the user wants. But from the beginning is a lot of also for some of them are also like some machine learning methodology, and then after that the last layer is generative AI.
Thank you. And what's one misconception people still have about ESG analytics?
Mm-hmm. There is still, like they think that a score and ranking companies, they can, like make a decision based on that. But a score alone can hide a lot of important context, how data was collected, what assumptions were made, whether the company's action actually support the claims. So ESG analysis is much more about understanding and understanding the underlying evidence and trade-offs and real impact. So when people rely only on a score, they risk making decisions based on simplified or even misleading information instead of truly understanding how a company performs.
Yes. And I want to ask you some question about entrepreneurship aspects of your work and your team and your challenges in this journey from a PhD idea to a working company. How did you build your initial team? What did you look for? And please talk about the team up process.
Um, we built an initial team very intentionally and both technical and also like a shared vision. Because uh, we look for people that have a strong AI, but also genuinely care about sustainability and genuinely care about like working on a project that create a lot of impact. So that was our main thing, and considering also because this is a new problem, having people with a strong scientific background and research capability, research ability, that's something that we needed because we wanted to create something as a state of the art of technology. So we needed some talented people that they can innovate and also execute.
And have you ever been involved in entrepreneurship programs like incubators, in the angel investors, or something like this? Or in university, you had some mentors who was
That's right.
master in entrepreneurship?
Yes, that's right. We went through many actually. Next AI, we went through V1 Studio, um, uh, what else? Now we are in a spring program that they can help us to understand and communicate with investors. And there were also like a few that we went through it through universities.
Oh, yeah, spring program. And what's a mistake you made early on that shaped how you live today? And would you talk about the barriers and challenges?
Um, The mistake, yes, we did. We actually had a lot of mistake, but one mistake that I can tell you from the beginning, because we started as this as a research, and we wanted to understand what is the application of AI in sustainability. So we found a lot of things at once, because we saw many valuable applications for our technology. So we developed powerful features, but it made actually our offering too broad and harder for clients to immediately understand and adopt. So that experience taught us to focus much more on clarity and prioritization. So building one clear, easy to adopt solution first, showing the value quickly, and then expanding from that. So this really shaped how we lead today by pushing us to simplify, stay close to the customer needs, and make sure everything we build is easy to understand and delivers immediate impact.
Oh, great. And what advice do you give to someone starting in the ESG or AI space today?
So the first thing that is focusing on solving a problem and a real problem, not just creating a technology, because both ESG and AI now is a crowded space, and it's easy to get lost in the trends. But creating a real value comes from understanding where people are struggling. Whether accessing to the data, making a decision, and proving impact, and building something that actually helps. And at the same time, they can also develop a strong foundation in both domains and understand the technical side of AI and the context and complexity of sustainability.
Good. And from the audiences, if you have any questions, we will hear. If not, I have a last couple of questions regarding our tax risk STEM, climate, and AI. Dr. Elham, how can AI tools leverage climate data to drive tangible climate actions rather than just analysis and reporting?
Very good question. And so AI tools can have real climate, can actually drive real climate action. How? By moving, yes, beyond reporting to directly supporting decision and execution. So instead of just analyzing emissions or risks, AI can identify the most effective actions a company can take, like where to reduce the energy use, which supplier to prioritize, and how to shift investments, and also quantify the impact of those choices. Another thing that they can do, they can monitor progress in real time and flag gaps between commitment and actual performance. That help them, if they're investors, they help them how to allocate capital toward the companies with high impact opportunities. And in practice, this means integrating climate data into daily operations, strategy, investment decision. So organizations don't just understand the impact, they actually can improve themselves in any area in sustainability and more specifically on the climate actions.
And thank you. And what a specific climate-related challenge can your AI solutions directly help address today?
So we can help companies, and if investors want to analyze companies, so like there are two different views, but they can measure and track emissions by extracting and structuring data from reports and make it easier to understand a company's footprint. And we can also identify gaps between climate commitment and actions, something that always we call it greenwashing, and then they can improve accountability. Another area is decision making. So always our tools can help with decision making, our tools can help investors and also on organizations compare companies, assess climate risk, and they can prioritize where to allocate capital for the highest impact. And so understanding which area that they need more investment and what are the weaknesses of their sustainability performance, especially in terms of climate. And also using these tools, they can monitor over time and they can measure their progress. They can measure one example is that they gave it to you about the net zero. So what is the pathway, how they are getting close to the net zero, and understanding what strategies that they can have to be net zero. So they can learn from the best practices in that domain. And so in simple terms, we turn complex climate data into clear insights that can guide real and actionable decisions.
Great. And as my final question, if you had to describe Lucid Axon's impact in one sentence, what would it be?
In one sentence, Lucid
Or
Axon,
more,
yeah,
or more than one sentence.
Yeah, in one sentence, I can tell you that Lucid Axon empowers better decisions by turning complex sustainability data into clear and evidence-based insights. That's something that investors and organizations can trust easily and verify.
Great. Thank you so much, Francisco. My conversation is over. Do we have any additional questions from the audiences?
Not from the audience, but I did have a question myself. Just
Great.
from your presentation where you talked about how there's a lot of different like agencies that are doing the ESG assessments and they have their own metrics, plus all the self-reporting that's available publicly on some of these industry websites or the company websites. I'm kind of interested in how you take all of that information with the AI and kind of are able to create like a usable or balanced kind of metric when, some companies might be very transparent, some companies might not publish many of their findings or their reports publicly, or they all have, it's all due to, well, when the companies do it, it's mostly self-reporting. So like, and they might all report on different things. So kind of how do you kind of find that balance with your AI to where it can be really usable and like comparable between companies and kind of find like a real valuable score, I guess.
Yeah, very good question. And it is very true that always, if you want to rely on what companies are disclosing, as a kind of bias that you bring to the table. But these tools, because it has access to public information, so any public information about companies, even small companies, if there is some news, if there is a controversy related to that, something bad news in somewhere that is reported, so they can combine all of this data and give you some insights that you can make a decision based on that. So it's telling you that, okay, this company is like in terms of climate change, they're doing this, but they actually have some controversy related to that. So they promise something, they want to show themselves that they are very good in something, but at the same time, there is some bad information, and they're not doing good. There are some complaints, related to the activities. Um, Customers are not satisfied with what they can get. And so there are many public information available that maybe they can get the benefit investors to understand, okay, something that's happening around these companies that I need to consider in my decision.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So, okay, so it's not just like self-reporting, but it's all kind of public information.
All kind of
So
public
that,
information.
okay. Okay. I think I didn't understand that at first, but that makes sense. I saw the slide with the headlines. So yeah, I guess you do consider like all of that as
Yeah.
well. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, that definitely answers yeah, the question I had. So thank you. And I guess with that, since there's no more audience questions, I think we can start wrapping up. So just I wanted to say thank you so much for that presentation and for this great discussion. I think it was really insightful. Um, and it was great kind of getting a better understanding of the work that you do with Lucid Axon. Thank you, of course, to Human for helping coordinate all of this, um, and for preparing all of the questions and the session.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity to present Lucid Axon. And we hope that we can create some values for the people who are working in that domain. And thank you so much for the audience that took some time to listen to this. I hope it was helpful.
Yes, yeah, thank you so much for that. And yeah, thank you, of course, to the audience for taking the time to be here and interacting. Um, and I did share, just as a reminder, our social media in the chat. So if you want to follow what CFAL York is up to, and also our YouTube channel where you can see the recordings of all of these sessions, please give us a follow or join our YouTube so that you can see these sessions. And also, if you have any follow-up questions, for Dr. Kheradmand or for Dr. Razavi or for anyone who has presented or will present in this series. I have also dropped my email there in the chat, so please feel free to email me and I'll connect you with the appropriate speaker to answer your questions. Um, and with that said, just one last reminder that this is a monthly series, so we will have another session in May. These sessions are on the last Thursday of every month. So it will be on May 28th will be our next session. So please mark that on your calendar. Share it with anyone who might be interested that's not already registered, as our registration is always open and free until the very last session. So with that, just one last big thank you to everybody today. I think we had a great session, great discussion, and great presentation. And I know the audience appreciates it a lot that you've taken the time to be here and share with us. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks to you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.